Op-ed columnist The Sleazy case against Mueller's probe. In the matter of Robert Mueller's investigation of the Trump-Russia connection, administration apologists make three significant claims in an effort to discredit the former FBI director's work. Let's have a look at them. First, they insist that the intelligence dossier compiled by British ex-spook Christopher Steele, that's one basis for the FBI's own investigation, has been discredited, or is at best uncorroborated. In the same vein, they claim that Fusion GPS, the research firm that helped pay Steele for the dossier, is little more than a sleazy operator. The truth about Fusion is that it is paid to dig up dirt by whoever is willing to pay for the dirt. Its business model relies on the Beatles' timeless insight that not everybody's got something to hide except me and my monkey. But questions about Fusion's credibility, client list or aggressive tactics are irrelevant. Fusion brokered the dossier, but Steele produced it. What's relevant is his credibility, the reliability of his sources and the truthfulness of their claims. These check out. Bill Browder, the anti-Putin campaigner who is an outspoken critic of Fusion, calls Steele a top-class person whose reputation is beyond reproach. At least one of Steele's possible Russian sources was found dead and 3 others were charged with treason, suggesting, as one Wall Street Journal news account noted, that the Kremlin was cleaning out the moles who had betrayed its hand in last year's election meddling. As for the allegations themselves, former CIA station chief John Cipher laid out the decisive case for their broad truthfulness in a lengthy article in September in Just Security. Well before any public knowledge of these events, Cipher notes, Steele's report identified multiple elements of the Russian operation, including a cyber campaign, leaked documents related to Hillary Clinton, and meetings with Paul Manafort and other Trump affiliates to discuss the receipt of stolen documents. Mr. Steele could not have known that the Russians stole information on Hillary Clinton, or that they were considering means to weaponize them in the U.S. election, all of which turned out to be stunningly accurate. After this column went to print, The Times reported that Trump foreign policy advisor Carter Page met with Russian government officials in a July 2016 trip to Moscow, something he has long denied. This further confirms another claim made in the Steele dossier. There's more of this, but you get the point. The suggestion that the Steele dossier has been discredited is discreditable to the point of being dishonest. This brings us to the second anti-Mueller contention, which is that his indictment of former campaign chairman Paul Manafort for tax fraud connected to his political work in Ukraine, along with news of the guilty plea entered by Trump foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos for lying to the FBI, is merely evidence of the slimness of the special counsel's case. The nonchalance about Manafort's illicit ties to pro-Russian politicians in Ukraine is almost funny, coming from the same people who went berserk over China's alleged meddling on behalf of Democrats in the 1996 presidential campaign. But if nothing else, the Manafort indictment underscores the Trump campaign's astonishing vulnerability to Russian blackmail. Did that vulnerability explain the campaign's bizarre intervention, denied by Manafort, to soften the Republican Party platform's language on providing help to Ukraine? Why did the campaign pursue a course of semi-secret outreach to Russia through George Papadopoulos, giving him just enough visibility to let the Russians know he was a player, but not so much visibility as to attract much media attention? What else about Trump's obsequious overtures to the Kremlin might similarly be explained by the contents of the Steele dossier? These questions require answers, which is what makes calls to remove Mueller from his job, or have Trump pardon Manafort, Papadopoulos and even himself, both strange and repugnant. Since when did conservatives suddenly become conveniently bored with getting to the bottom of Russian conspiracies? As it turns out, they're not bored. They just want the conspiracies to involve liberals. Thus the third Trumpian claim that the real scandal is that the Clinton campaign and Democratic National Committee paid for the Steele dossier. Somehow that's supposed to add up to collusion between Clinton and the Russians, on the remarkable theory that Steele was merely retailing Kremlin-invented fables about Trump. Yet how else was Steele supposed to investigate allegations of Russia's ties to the Trump campaign except by talking to Russian sources with insight into the Kremlin? If Clinton was the beneficiary of the Kremlin's designs, why did it leak her emails? And why would Putin favor the